Roll the intro. Hey, everybody. Hope you're doing well. Welcome back. Today I've got the Queen of Pentacles. This one's been coming up a lot. It's so funny. Queen of Pentacles is the obstacle, and the Five of Pentacles, or I'm just going to say it's coins. The Five of Coins as the opportunity. So let's get started. Queen, and they're close. They're right next to each other. um, yeah, one of the ways to look at this card as being a representation of an archetypal individual is as someone who is successful, and this could be success in finance, obviously the coins, the money, the gold. They could be successful in finance. They could also be successful in things like, they could be really healthy. They could be really good looking. They could have an immaculate social reputation. Now, it it's it's not, while it's not accurate to say that every person who attains these things um, attains them in the same fashion. I think it's interesting to understand this kind of archetype and how they get to that point of success, and then how that determines how they're likely to act in certain situations. This this archetype is generally a person who is like really really good at managing all of the internal system, the internal, economics in the Latin sense, like home management. It doesn't specifically have to imply a home, but they have their little bubble, and they are just really good at managing everything in that bubble. It generally takes a long time to become successful in this way, but it is also like a slow and steady progress. It's in a lot of ways it's guaranteed. These are the kind of people, they just stick with it, and it works, and it works slowly, but there's no risks. They don't take risks. People like this, they don't like to venture outside of this bubble. They have the things that they understand that are inside. Those things work, slow and incremental progress, and they stick with that, and they see results. And this archetype implies that we are already dealing with a person who is at that point where they have already succeeded in amassing some sort of wealth of, reputation, beauty, money, whatever. Um, so often it's often it's really tempting to work with people like this, to maybe have them invest, or to somehow partner up with these people. Now, generally, these types of individuals, they won't really they won't really partner up. They won't really, again, they don't want to venture out of that comfort zone, right? So generally, they'll be pretty careful with how far out they put themselves. But in some cases, they will, as long as they feel like they can manage that investment, manage that partnership. And sometimes a person like this will tell you, like, listen, if I invest in this company, like, we're gonna have to do things my way. And sometimes someone will tell you that, and then you'll think, oh yeah, yeah, that's great, because really you're just really excited that you have someone who's gonna, invest in this project. Maybe you're the idea person and they're the money person. um, and then you team up, and then like very quickly are just pushed to the side. You're squashed into some low risk position where you don't have any influence on things, and you're like, what the heck? But that's what you get from this kind of person. This is like, there's this kind of cliche of the movie producer, the music, the album producer or whatever. You you get into, business bed. You get into bed with them because they have the money to produce this product that you have a vision for, maybe. But then once you're working with them, you very quickly realize that uh, it's it largely becomes about what their ideas are, and they downvote, a bunch of your ideas. Maybe they let something get in there, but it just pretty much ceases to be your project. You have very little influence, and again, this is because these people are that they didn't get rich by rolling the dice and being risky. There are other archetypes like that. The king of coins being kind of the inversion of this in terms of investment strategy. But yeah, but this person is not it. So if this is someone that you're considering maybe getting into business with, and you think that maybe you could retain control or your vision, I would give that some serious thought. I would be doubtful that that kind of situation would work out with an individual like this. And then, man, this is such a dreary card. um, the with this one, the angle I'm going to approach this from, again, the numerological. Hey, that's the wrong card. What's going on here? But I mean, it's an interesting. It is, the Hierophant, I guess, in the Waite. The Hierophant of the Devil. It is where I get a lot of the meaning of the reading from for the fives. I think this card depicts a political uh, a body politic. I think this is not referring to you know two people as pictured on the card. I think this card is depicting large large groups of people. I think the card could still be symbolically interpreted fairly accurately to consider something like the clergy, the church, the holy people as a group, and the downtrodden, the poor, the sick, the what is it, like the huddled, give us your weak huddled masses or whatever, the downtrodden. And I think in depicting the contrast between the two groups, I think it could serve as a reminder of how at a certain point the authority shifted from one group to the other. We very much live in a leave no one behind uh, philosophy. Like, that philosophy permeates a lot of our values, and in a way, the weakest of us get to dictate the tempo and the direction in which we all go. It's shifted from what amongst other things. There have been plenty of individuals or groups that held the kind of position of being revered as the authority that sets the tempo, so to speak. But yeah, there used to be people in the clergy were like, they were the class that determined. They would even essentially dictate to the kings what the kings should do. Then at times it was those kings that were in power without the authority of the church behind them. But anyway, I see this card as, I think, symbolizing the shifting values of political political movements, of the virtues, the values, the beliefs, the moral structures that are shaped around political movements. Or, I mean, also accurately, I think it could be described the other way around, where political movements are shaped around the constantly changing people and activities that are coming in and out of fashion, becoming the right thing to do, as the old right thing to do becomes the wrong thing, the regressive, old, dusty thing to do. And in the short video, I kind of joked that unlike something like the discovery of a new deposit, a new vein of gold has been discovered, or like diamonds have been found somewhere. It's like there aren't that many. It's not like we're living in a time where people are just regularly discovering some new valuable resource in their backyard, like Beverly Hillbillies or something. It's like, hey, there's oil out there to just be discovered, jewels and things. Um, in that sense, we live in a pretty flat landscape where it seems like things are kind of where they are. But on the flip side, the the morals, the virtues, um, as they shift, as some of them come into fashion, other ones go into fashion, it's like rocks have become the new gold. Now leaves are the new gold, and rocks are back to being worthless rocks. But the attention of the masses and where they perceive value shifts pretty regularly. And in some ways, I kind of feel like it's shifting faster and faster, but who knows? That could just be a bias of my perception. But anyway, I think the opportunity here is, to maybe perceive and then be able to interact with or invest into the shifting values that our society or even our community places in activities, things that are worth fighting for, things that are no longer worth fighting for. Those types of political ideas. There's always some cause that people are willing to passionately get behind, and there's always plenty of people, like in the gold rush. There's always plenty of people who are getting there first and getting that merchandising done, selling those T-shirts, selling those placards or whatever for your protest. Like there are people that it's it's almost like there are people who have this business savvy, or even it doesn't have to translate to money directly. It could just relate to that one aspect of the coins as being representative of your reputation, your social standing, right? Um, but yeah, I think there are these types of people who are just, it's like they're really good at sensing when the weather is about to change, and using the concept of weather metaphorically, but it's like they're the ones that could spot that new weather front on the horizon before anyone else spots it, and then they go and buy 30 umbrellas. So by the time the storm hits, they're like, oh, I just happened to be an umbrella salesman at the perfect time. um, yeah, I think there are all sorts of opportunities, um, that you know that a person could become aware of if they pay attention, if they study those yeah, those weather fronts of values and virtues, and what people are fighting for, what are people no longer fighting for, and yeah, exploiting them. I kind of feel like this has this feel of exploiting it, but um, yeah, without making it sound like it's some money grabbing opportunity. Like, people, you know, if if you could come up with a really good T-shirt design that perfectly captures someone's sentiment, which they are desperate to find a way to express publicly, you know, are you being are you being more exploitative of a political movement than you are offering a service that's genuinely, you know, like demanded by someone? I guess the answer to that is up to you. But I just wanted to make that reading of this card. I don't think I've ever heard anyone interpret it in this way, but I've been thinking about it this way for a little while. So that's it for today. Careful, careful who you go into business with, because these archetypes are going to be very careful, and they will minimize risk, which may include stifling any involvement you have in the project that you go into, as well as the things that we value politically are always shifting, and there are always opportunities to interact with those shifting currents and weather patterns. Thanks for watching. Drop me a like if you enjoyed the video. Feel free to comment hashtag free reading in the comments for your chance to win a free one-on-one reading. Thanks again for watching. I'll be back tomorrow. Take care.